All right, I am here with a special guest that we have at MEP Force, one of our keynote speakers, General Karl Horst. Thank you for joining us at MEP Force.
Thank you for the kind invitation to be here. It's a privilege and an honor to spend time with you and your team, and more importantly, your clients and guests.
Love that. Yeah. I mean, there's been just so many nuggets of wisdom just from our conversations. So how do you like MEP Force so far?
Well, I really enjoy it. As I told you at the Alamo last night, that I have a bachelor's degree in engineering, and so mechanical engineering is something I understand. I didn't understand it the first time I took the course because I failed it and had to go to summer school. And electrical, I understand that. I passed the electrical engineering course barely, and plumbing, I'm able to make rudimentary changes to the plumbing at my home, and so I feel like I'm amongst friends here. Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing.
Yep.
Now, I'm not one of those, but being here with them is a special opportunity.
That's awesome. I know you had a talk today, and what's in your digital toolbox?
We did a breakout session about digital toolbox, and I set the stage by talking about change and leading change. I am an analog person by birth and by upbringing that have had to make the migration, the immigration. I'm a digital information age immigrant. And so the implied message there is I had to change. And I talked about when I came in the Army in 1973 and the changes that I saw in the Army across the 40 years that I served. It was a change in people, a change in leadership. It was a change in technology.
Yeah.
And so you go from an army that came out of Vietnam broken and wounded, if you will. And in a short span of time, we rebuilt our army to become the most formidable fighting force in the world. And we did that through change, leading change, and infusion of technology, research and development to put the best equipment into the hands of our soldiers. And so I use that to set the tone to talk with the folks in the breakout session about their journey for change. I asked, how many of them started out with a Desalon slide rule, and there were actually people that knew what it was but didn't know how to use it.
I know I didn't know what it was. I think of when I think of a calculator, and like the app on my phone, like
exactly. Well, when I said Texas Instrument 83 scientific or 86 scientific, a couple of them went, yeah, okay, I had one of those. I said, but you can't use a slide rule. I said, we know how to do that.
Yeah.
So and what that represents is change. And the other point that I made to them was, in 1969, the engineers at NASA that put Neil Armstrong and his crew on the moon did it using a slide rule.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have,
that's incredible.
They didn't have computers. So they actually computed things on their slide rules to get guys to land on the moon.
Yeah.
Okay? And so how far we've come since 1969, 1973, to bring us into the 21st century, into the 2000, and the explosion of technology and how important it is. So what I did is I challenged them. I said, how do you manage the infusion of new technology into your companies? And then I asked them a question, who's responsible in your company for integrating new technology? And I went around the room and asked them, and one gentleman said, I am. I said, well, how many people do you have working for you? He says, I am the one. I said, you are the guy that infuses technology in your... He said, yes. So it was a young guy that was not a millennial. He's actually a Gen Z guy. And I said, well, how about you? How do you integrate technology? And he goes, oh, it's pretty cool where I work because I have 120 people that integrate technology. And so how do you keep up with change?
Yeah.
How do you monitor that? How do you get the best technology that's available? How often do you have to change it and upgrade it? If you look at our iPhones, so since iOS 16 came out, there have been 4 upgrades, and that's been in just a couple months.
Yeah.
And so the technology literally explodes and changes monthly.
Yeah.
So imagine making a capital investment to purchase technology for your company, only to have it become outdated very quickly.
Yeah.
So that was a discussion and dialogue we had.
Yeah, but I love the idea of having you've got somebody that owns it,
Yep.
right? It's kind of what Randy was saying earlier. You need somebody that owns it, right? Is accountable. They're like, I'm responsible for this,
I am the one.
right?
That's what.
And then we need to make sure they're properly resourced to be successful, right? And it's like creating that culture of like they're able to ask if they need help. They've got executive leaders that are listening,
Right.
when they're asking for help.
Right. What you need, and that's why leading change is important. And Randy talked about it this morning in her session. And one of the questions that came up was, how do you deal with people that or how do you deal with leaders that aren't willing to make changes? And it starts at the top. It's all about leader. It is all about leadership. And so when you're managing change, you have to have leaders that understand.
Yeah.
And so imagine the frustration that Gen Zs have with a guy like me that was an analog guy that has had to catch up, and like you and the younger folks, you grew up with technology from as long as you can remember. My kids are the same way, and the thought of not having an iPhone, the thought of not having a computer, the thought of not having technology, they can't comprehend what it's like.
Yeah, and the leader is responsible to facilitate that conversation, right? And at the end of the day, we need each other. Like, we're not going to be able to survive if we're not
we have to have
joining
leaders,
forces.
if we have to have leaders that are visionary. And so one of the advantages, and I talked to him about it, I said, one of the advantages of coming to MEP Force and being here is you're exposed to very sophisticated people that are rapidly, effectively, and efficiently integrating technology to change the dynamics of the work that they do.
Yeah.
That's why people come. That's why they're here.
Yeah.
And what you're doing with Evolve and MEP Force is you're jump starting them. And for maybe those little companies that have the one guy, they get exposed to best of breed, best practices, best technology.
Yep.
And so that's the advantage that you bring. To bringing people here to San Antonio to this conference.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're creating a tool, but the tool, if we don't have, if let's say in that organization they don't have the right culture, right, and let's say they don't have the right people, and then the tool is only it's going to be limited, right? Where if they've got the different generations, different viewpoints, it's like I remember what was it? I think even in the book Seven Habits, Stephen Covey.
Stephen Covey's Seven Habits of Highly Successful People.
Yep. You see things differently, and that's a good thing.
Right.
I want to know what you see.
Right. Well, I would tell you that in the discussion I had, the gentleman who is the one. He was an older gentleman, and so my question for his company is how switched on is he compared to the young Gen Z guy who lives for technology? He's surrounded by 120 people. They feed off of each other. So the one guy that's out there, I mean, I hope he's getting the best stuff. But I would be more confident in the Gen Z who thrive on technology.
Yeah, that's so good. I love it. Well, we're so happy to have you here, and the general hasn't asked me to do this, but the general does have a book.
I have a book
that is
it's easy to read.
Very easy to read, Common Sense Leadership, and he has not asked me to promote this, but I'm happy to promote this because I'm telling you, just the I don't know how many couple hours we spent talking. I mean, there's just so much wisdom as a leader. So highly recommend checking this book out on Amazon.
On Amazon, and I don't actively sell the books. They do sell on Amazon, and all the proceeds go to charity. I just take all the proceeds from the book and roll it back into charitable things to take care of people.
I love it.
So I didn't write it for the purpose of making money. I wrote it for the purpose of helping people and helping people realize their full potential as leaders. And I'm at the pay it forward stage of life.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all called to pay it forward. And as someone took care of me and raised me to be a good leader, I have a moral, ethical obligation to help those that come behind me. And so I'm just paying it forward. And this is an opportunity and a tool that allows me to pay it forward.
Yep. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it. Thanks for allowing me to be here with the team.
Yep. Happy to have you.